Hello and welcome into episode 21 on
21.
January 21.
Tim
We
Duncan
are
episode. Let's go.
into the new year. How are you doing, Zach Dan? It's been a while.
Dude, Jordan, I'm doing pretty good. I'm back at school. This morning I made an omelet, Jordan, and let me tell you, it was so fire. Put some mushrooms, some cheese, some tomatoes in that, onions. It was pretty dank.
You lost
Uh,
me as soon as you said mushroom. I don't do
Not a
mushrooms.
mushroom guy.
Not a mushroom guy at all.
It was pretty fire. Overall, things are good. I'm happy to be back. What about you, man?
I'm good. I'm still in Dallas for the moment. Here I will be in Ann Arbor making my return to the Michiganderland this Sunday. So
That's
this is my
great.
last podcast coming to you guys from Dallas. Right now, it may look like I'm in Ann Arbor because I have a different background here. For those of you who are watching on YouTube, trying to find the quiet places in the house with everyone
Yeah, I was
back
gonna
to
ask you
normal.
about that. That's not your room.
Well, yeah, this is my room.
Or that's not the room you
Yeah.
usually record in.
No, yeah, this is my room. You can see my closet that doesn't close, my jersey ball collection. So we're all good here. But yeah, it'll be nice to have my own space up there. We can do it from across the country. So I'm looking forward to it.
Awesome.
Yeah. Well, it's not only about sports right now because today is actually January 20th when we are recording this. And today's inauguration day. Just want to shout out Uncle Joe, Joey B, the man, the myth, the legend, President Joe Biden, who has made a feature on our podcast. But congrats. It's a monumental day. It's American history. So really cool. Did you get to see any of the inauguration today?
Yeah, I did. I watched it. My class was canceled actually this morning,
Oh,
so I
nice.
got to watch. It was good. Yeah.
Yeah. J-Lo brought the house down. There's the poet laureate did a great job.
Yeah, she was great. Yeah,
I
for
forget
sure.
her name, but
Uh,
something Gibson.
yeah.
But she was really good. Amanda? No, Amanda Gibson?
Amanda, yeah, it's Amanda
Yeah.
something.
Um, Gorman, not Gibson. Excuse
Gorman,
me.
yeah, yeah, that's
Sorry.
it. That's
I knew it
it.
was the G.
Yeah,
Amanda Gorman. Yeah, she was amazing. Only 22 years old too. I mean, come
yeah,
on. What are we
unbelievable.
doing at 21?
For real.
Making a podcast. Um,
Making a podcast. There
Well,
you go.
the only thing that has rivaled the inauguration in the last week, and really since we did our last podcast, which I'm pretty sure was in 2020. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was in 2020. Maybe not. Maybe we've done one since. Anyway, it's been the James Harden trade, and it's just
No,
blown
that
me
was
away that
not 2020, Jordan. That
what?
was 2021.
No, since I think the last time
Oh,
we did a
oh,
podcast might have been 2020.
yeah,
So
yeah,
like since
yeah.
we've done one, it's been a while, and still the biggest news has been this past week with James Harden. What are your initial reactions? Because we haven't even talked about this.
I was shocked at that trade. I honestly thought that they were going to do one for Ben Simmons. I thought that was what was going to happen because I thought the value was something there. I guess the Rockets are just in full rebuild mode. I mean, honestly, Oladipo's been looking nice on their roster too.
Yeah.
Uh, Not sure if it'll be sustained, but it looks like they're going to be going for some new franchise players because they don't really have anything there anymore, which is unfortunate. But I think that the
It's not
Brooklyn
unfortunate.
James is looking nice in Brooklyn. I'm not sure what they need to do with Kyrie, but it's a good team. They're going to be dangerous. Definitely a heavy contender.
Yeah, this is not unfortunate. As a Mavs fan and a Spurs fan, I think we can both sit here and smile when we see the Rockets implode. But I heard whispers from my sources, more like the podcast I listen to, that aren't ours, that the deal was Simmons and Maxey for Harden, and the Rockets were all on board, and the Sixers just would not part with Tyrese Maxey. Um,
Really?
so they wanted the Sixers just wanted to throw in Thibault and some picks and Simmons and call it a day, and the Rockets said no, we want Tyrese Maxey, which he's a great young talent. He's a one and done from Kentucky, a guy who's put up 40 already in a game this year where Philly had like 6 players active, but he's good, and I think they're going to kick themselves because I think not only did it not elevate them to another level, but it elevated the Nets, and like where Philly could have competed with the Nets. I think now if everyone's healthy, it puts them in a completely different stratosphere as the Sixers.
Yeah, that's actually really interesting. That's so surprising that was like the deal breaker for them or whatever.
I know. Very surprising. Because
Uh,
like he's very unproven, and he was in the 20s as a pick. Like it's not like you're mortgaging your future, to get James Harden here. So we'll see how it pans out. Apparently Kyrie's going to play tonight. This podcast again is being taped on January 20th, so we don't know if he's going to be in there against the Cavs, but that would be really cool to see all three of them play.
yeah, it'd be really scary. I mean, ISO, those guys are insane.
Yeah. I know we were talking about this a little bit before, but I do think the one thing the Nets still lack, because we should talk about this. So first off, I want to get your opinion. Do you think they're better than the Lakers if everyone's healthy? Do you think they could win in a 7-game series?
That's tough, dude. Who guards Davis?
That's the question. Because you could put Durant on him, but then who's taking LeBron? Jeff Green? Like James
Yeah,
Harden?
I don't know.
No Torian Prince, no Jared Allen. They're all
Right.
gone.
Yeah, I mean, um, I think talent wise, the Nets have more talent with three superstars as opposed to two. But still think that the Lakers are a better system team than the Nets. At least, I mean, but I don't know because Steve Nash is also probably going to be a brilliant mind.
Yeah.
Um, as of right now, I'm taking Lakers just because they're coming off the chip and everything. But I'll see how they progress and see kind of how that looks. But talent wise, the Nets definitely out talent the Lakers, which is crazy to think about.
Definitely out offensive talent them. Like if you had to say who's going to score more points, you could. I mean, that's the name of the game, right? Like if you score more points, you should win. So the Nets do have the offensive firepower, but like on the other side of the ball, like I don't know how they're going to get stops at all against guys like Davis. Like if you put DeAndre Jordan on Anthony Davis, it's just going to be a repeat of when Giannis torched him the other night. Like that's it's unfair. You can't have DeAndre Jordan playing on the perimeter. That's why. So that's why I think they lack the depth that they had before. They have the star power. So I showed you this trade, and I want to talk about it because I think it's one you can throw out the swapping of the point guards here because we don't know how Kyrie's going to fit in. But right now, I'll put it up on the screen for people on YouTube. But here's the trade. Brooklyn Nets receive Chris Paul, PJ Tucker, and Rashawn Holmes for that front court depth. The Suns receive Kyrie, Landry Shamet, Bruce Brown for salary purposes. The Kings get Jalen Smith, the 10th pick in the draft, and Claxton from the Nets. And the Rockets get Dinwiddie and picks. And, picks can be scattered here however they needed to be, but those are just the players involved. So basically, I think Brooklyn, I mean, you can throw out the PG or CB3 Kyrie. I really think they need guys like Tucker and Rashawn Holmes for these small ball, tough wing front court defensive lineups where they're going to have to face guys like LeBron, Anthony Davis, Giannis, etc. Siakam.
That is ridiculous. No, I mean honestly, I just don't really see the value of the Kings doing a trade like that. Like they're not really getting much back for Rashawn Holmes, who looks like he's taken a huge step forward this year. Yeah, they get Jalen Smith, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, he's a real big question mark.
Give him a first. Give him a first rounder.
Okay, maybe throw him a couple. Okay, I mean, and they can work on developing Bagley a little bit more too, because he actually recently has been playing a little better the last couple of games. So maybe he could be something, not just the guy who was picked before Luka.
And this way too, you could have a lineup where you start Halliburton with Fox and Hield. So it's like Fox, Hield, Halliburton, Barnes, Bagley. I don't know. I like that.
That's pretty fire. Honestly, it could work. Here's my trade scenario, and you can talk about it. Yeah. I say the Nets send Kyrie to Washington, and they send DeAndre Jordan and Spencer Dinwiddie to the Clippers in exchange for Serge Ibaka from the Clippers, as well as Russell Westbrook from Washington. So
Reunite them all.
What's up?
Reunite them all.
Reunite them all. You got Westbrook, Harden, Durant, and Ibaka. Enjoy it.
And Jeff Green.
There you go.
OGs.
The whole team is back. Some picks will probably have to be exchanged there, right? Send some picks to Clippers because Serge Ibaka is better than DeAndre Jordan. Dinwiddie's good though. Kawhi has expressed a lot that he wants a facilitator.
The only
And
thing he's a free agent is the only thing.
good point. So you're gonna have to send a ton of picks there.
Yeah.
Just flood him with picks, which they don't really have anymore.
Because he's not going to play this year, so you're going to have to sign him long term.
Right. So maybe sign Dinwiddie long term now. Offer him like a big contract. Send him that Yeah, I don't know, but I think that could be really cool if they brought back. I mean, who wins the trade straight up, Westbrook for Kyrie?
Right now, I would say whoever gets Kyrie. But
Dude,
I think
he doesn't like to play basketball.
No, I know. You're taking that risk, but I say like at this point, because Westbrook's also hurt right now. He's out. I think that you would take Kyrie over Westbrook, but I will say Kyrie is floating down into that like Westbrook, John Wall, semi Chris Paul a couple years ago when it was like aging guards where you don't know what you're going to get out of them and they have a huge price tag. And
right.
It's a little risky. Like that's why I thought it'd be good to swap him and Chris Paul, just because Chris Paul's head is probably more in the game right now and wanting to win a championship than a guy like Kyrie who already has one under his belt.
Yeah.
So it's fun. I don't think they're going to trade Kyrie, and I think he's going to come back tonight and have a great game against Cleveland. He looks like he's motivated. He said that he missed the last 7 games and he's sorry to everyone, and he knows like that people have been upset that he hasn't played and stuff, but he needed the time away. So you gotta take his word for it right now and then see how he comes back. So just like your glasses are making a comeback.
Yeah.
Did you see he bought a house for George Floyd's family?
I did see that. That's really, it's amazing.
I think he's in the right place.
Yeah, absolutely. Apparently he sat down with each of his teammates individually and talked to them about his actions and stuff.
Yeah, he can be mature. I mean, he learned under LeBron for a long time. He's not just gonna blow up. But we'll see how that happens or what happens tonight against the Cavs, his former team. Other news here. This NFL playoffs is getting kind of crazy, and we've missed all of it because we talked last time. I think it was week 17. It was before the final game. We talked to Jake, and so Washington obviously ends up winning. So great for Jake. But losing the playoffs to Tom Brady, get that. Didn't you pick the Bucks to go all the way, or am I making that up?
Bucks Bills, you heard it here first, and it's looking good.
That is an amazing call. Because that could happen.
I should throw money on that or something.
You should have.
Yeah.
It was 27-1 at one point. Yeah. I know that for a fact.
Wow.
You could have won a lot of money because that could actually happen. I mean, the Buccaneers look really good, and then Mahomes is injured, so there's definitely a world.
Definitely a world, man. I might have missed out.
No, it's looking like.
No, I have the merit though from calling it on the show.
Yeah, we can always go back to it. That's what I was thinking about. I was like, let's look at our predictions and think back, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure Zach had Bucks Bills, which is amazing. Well, I do want to give a shout out to Chad Henne, Go Blue. He came in and had the biggest pass of the day, also the most fearless run of the day.
That was unbelievable.
And we were joking about him on the podcast a couple weeks ago in fan mail. It was like that rap. It was A Star Is Born, and they're making fun of Chad Henne. It was I forget who submitted our fan mail, but it was just like totally bashing him, and we had to defend him. It was plus I got Henne in the pocket like a dolphin. A Star Is Born by STS. That's the song. And yet he comes out and he wins a playoff game. So good for him.
Yeah, dude. He definitely earned his money.
Yeah, and if he has to start again this week, I'm not gonna be too optimistic. But crazier things have happened. Those Chiefs have a lot of weapons, so it should be a good game.
They do. Maybe the most weapons in the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, do you see how easy it was for Tyreek Hill to just run like literally horizontal and break, stop on a dime, catch the ball, fall down, and they had the game. It was
an
effortless.
Animal, bro. They're just such a good team. Travis Kelce might be the best all-around receiver in the league.
Yeah, crazy. That was one of my better investments was drafting Travis Kelce in the second round, spending that early draft stock on a tight end. Only do it if it's him.
Yeah, that's the only person you do it on, really.
Although you had the Waller pick, and that turned out to be pretty good too, but it was later in the draft than
Yeah.
second round. So yeah. Well, on the other side, I'm still a believer in Aaron Rodgers. I know Tom Brady's looked great, but I'm still going with my man,
Bro,
future
I cannot believe
MVP.
I coming back to predictions for a second. I do remember in the beginning of the season I said that he was gonna go under, and this might be his best season ever. So as much of these calls I get right, there's plenty I get wrong.
But everyone had that. Like in fantasy drafts, Rodgers was going after Breeze. People were comparing them and saying that Breeze had the better weapons. Michael Thomas coming off a record catch year. Like Breeze was better suited to have a great year than Rodgers. And man, like, could they look any different? I mean,
Yeah, I
Breeze
mean
has looked
Rodgers
miserable.
is the goat, man. He's not the goat, but he's up there.
Yeah. He could be. If he wins this and an MVP and then wins one more Super Bowl, I think with the level of talent that he's had and as miserable as it's been and how good he's made his receivers, it's pretty impressive how he
Yeah, that's a good point. I'd say in terms of his talent, his raw talent, he's definitely in the debate in terms of, yeah, I mean, like in terms of what he can do. Um, I feel like Tom Brady holds it pretty high.
but Rodgers has the single best play I have ever seen in my career.
Which one
Not
is
career,
that?
but like in my career watching the NFL from my couch as a lazy American. I I was watching. It was the Cardinals and Packers a few years back in the playoffs, and they were down 7 with like 3 seconds to go. He takes a snap, and Arizona blitzed on a Hail Mary. It was like 50 yards out, and so he rolls as soon as he gets the snap because he knows they're coming, and he just heaves it up. And this guy Jeff Janis, who is undrafted, not still in the NFL. Like this dude was horrible off the practice squad. He goes up and makes the catch perfectly, obviously, because the ball's right where it has to be. It's one of the best. I mean, they lost in overtime, but it's one of the best plays I've ever witnessed. And that
Wow.
just shows you like Aaron Rodgers is Captain Clutch. You know, like whenever you need a throw to be on the money, it's on the money. It's there.
I'm excited for this weekend, man. We're seeing a clash of the goats.
Yeah, for sure. It's the first time they've ever met in the playoffs. So
Wow.
yeah, they've been on opposite sides and they never made it to the Super Bowl, both of them. It's the Kobe LeBron we never got to see.
Wow, that's really cool.
Yeah, so should be a good one. Um, all right, I want an update going back to the NBA. I want to hear how fantasy basketball is going because all this football talk is making me craving some fantasy, and I just got to know how's your team doing?
I'm actually beating Noah this week. I didn't want to rub it in. You'll see later. We talked to Noah, but yeah, my team is doing well. And I have my problem is I have Karis LeVert, who might be out for the rest of the season with a lump on his kidney, which I mean, scary stuff. Karl Anthony Towns has been facing some injury problems, but he's insane when he plays. Definitely one of the best statistical players in the league by far. I made a trade with one of my friends recently where I got Trey Young for Gordon Hayward and DeAndre Hunter. And now since Danilo Gallinari is coming back, I think DeAndre Hunter's starting to slow down.
He
So
made the
it's
trade.
what's up?
He accepted the trade.
He accepted the trade. So now I have Trey Young. Oladipo is looking nice. Paul George, Siakam, Cat, um, D'Lo. It's a pretty good team.
Who are your waiver wire pickups of the week?
My biggest one recently was Emmanuel Quickly.
Okay, the Knicks.
He's been stepping up recently for the Knicks. People were saying like he was like the steal of the draft. So that was a pretty big one for me. Also, I got Tyrese Maxey a little bit on the later end though, so I haven't gotten his like insane production because since Seth Curry's been back. But hopefully, like you're saying, they value him high. So hopefully he'll get some more minutes and will be a really important part of my team in the future.
All right, so you pick up the Kentucky rookies. That seems like a good plan. Um, well, yeah, fantasy basketball. I feel like has just been all over the place with COVID. I don't know how you're managing it. It seems like it's been like different team every week that goes down. Were you excited when you heard the Karis LeVert trade news, or were you upset? Not like before the injury, just knowing that he was traded from the Nets. Was that like a
I was excited because every night where Durant or Kyrie or something would sit, which was fairly often, especially with Kyrie, like Karis LeVert would go off in fantasy. Like everyone was like he'd become like one of the best fantasy players like by far. And then I was like, okay, now he's gonna be like that role, but like number one on a team, arguably. Um, but now he might be out for the season. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I was getting pretty hyped though. People were like offering me like, oh, yo, take Durant for Karis LeVert. But
Jeez.
nah, not looking as good now. I almost did a Zach LaVine, Karis LeVert. It was like more involved than that, and
Mm.
I'm kind of regretting not taking that deal now.
Yeah, I like Zach LaVine. We're gonna talk about Zach LaVine with Noah in a little bit. Forgot to mention at the top that we have a special guest, Noah Rubinstein of the Smoking Cuban. He's going to join us again, our resident Mavs expert, to just talk about what's been a pretty abysmal season so far. But yeah, I would be happy about Levert too. It's really scary though that he has this mass on his kidney. It's crazy that the trade could save his life. I mean,
Yeah,
he said that
it
like
really might have saved his life. That is crazy
it's amazing.
because they only did that physical on him because he was traded.
Yeah, I know. It's not like he had a problem and came in with that. And
Right.
props to the Pacers for not just like refusing him because that showed up on his physical, like working with him and still believing in him as a player and wanting to rehab. But yeah, that's a situation that I know you'll be monitoring. Also, want to do a little update on our awards predictions. So I just want to shout out, I was watching NBA TV last night. Jordan Clarkson leads the league in bench points per game with 17. So that's promising for my sixth man of the year pick. And then
Who did I call for that?
I'm gonna have to look back. I don't know who you called for sixth
Six.
man
I
of the
think
year.
I called. Did I call Lou Williams? I hope not.
Yeah, he's been pretty miserable. Um, but I know Clarkson's looking good. And then Chris Boucher, I don't know who you had for most improved. Oh, yeah, Michael Porter Jr. He's been out. But Chris Boucher was my most improved, and he has 40 straight 20 burgers. He has 5 out of his last 6 games. He's put up 20. He has upped his scoring and rebounds from 6 and 4 last year to now 16 and 7 with 2.5 blocks a game. He just hung 21, 10, and 3 blocks on 8 of 12 shooting against the Mavs. Totally just torched us. So he's looking decent. Your MVP pick, Luka, he needs the Mavs to turn it around a little bit, but better than my MVP pick with Dame because the whole Blazers team is injured. So
Yeah, I actually called Kuzma sixth man of the year, which is
okay, is he
uh,
starting though, or no? He's coming off the bench.
I think he's coming off the bench.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, but yeah, Lamelo is looking insane for my rookie of the year
Yeah,
pick.
yeah,
Looks
mine's
pretty
not looking too
clear
good.
now. That dude is a monster. He leads all rookies in points, assists, rebounds, and steals.
Jeez,
More
and he
boards
doesn't
than
even
Wiseman.
start. He doesn't even start on that
Doesn't
team.
even start. That guy is
Nuts.
a beast. He's going to be a future face of the NBA, 100%. Lamelo Ball is legit. Can confirm.
My first All-Star appearance of the year, or of his career for this year, of Jaylen Brown is looking decent. I think Jaylen Brown's going to get an All-Star nod. I do want to just substitute. I know it's not allowed, but I wish I had made the CJ McCollum pick because he's injured. I wish I had subbed him for Malcolm Brogdon just because I think Malcolm Brogdon is going to be an All-Star out East. He's been looking really nice.
I wish I would have said Julius Randle.
Yeah, man, the Knicks. That is the most surprising story I would say of the NBA season so far because I mean, not only were they not expected to be good, like they were expected to finish last, and they're currently 7-8, which is a huge win for where they thought they were going to be.
Nah, I don't want to hear that. It's the Spurs, dude. The Spurs are doing insane. They're the top of our division right now. Everyone was like saying, "Oh, Popovich is so old. He's 72 years old. How is he going to connect with all these young guys?" He's doing it. He's the greatest coach of all time, and they're right now on pace to be in the playoffs. So people were saying, "Oh, they're going to be a top 5 pick." Are you kidding me?
Okay,
Um,
but like they had the great wins over the LA teams, but like they beat the Timberwolves twice, the Thunder, the Rockets, like the Blazers. Okay, like you had a pretty easy
that's 2
schedule.
solid wins.
Okay, but let's see oh my God, the Spurs stretch is ridiculously easy still. You literally have the Warriors, then our depleted Mavs team, COVID Mavs, the Wizards, Pelicans, the
Yeah.
Celtics. Who knows how they're going to be at that point? The Grizzlies, who are on and off injured. Timberwolves again. Warriors
Oh, we're
twice.
not getting the
Hawks,
playoffs, is what you're telling me.
Hornets, Pistons, Cavs, Knicks, Thunder, Pelicans. Like what? You get the Knicks again? What is this?
I like it. That's
That
what I
just
like to
means
hear.
the end of your season is gonna be miserable. But I honestly, you
Our
can make the
beginning of our season
playoffs.
was not easy. We've been doing pretty well. Like we've played some pretty hard teams.
Well, I'll tell you, the Pelicans, for some reason, not being able to figure it out, has opened the door for a team like the Spurs. Because the Pelicans, on paper, with even though they lost Drew Holiday, adding Bledsoe and Steven Adams to a team with a Zion in year 2 and an All-Star Brandon Ingram and Lonzo developing, like that should be a playoff team. On paper, that should easily be a playoff team.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Spurs are looking kind of nice with having that out of the way. Then the Thunder, though, are making things a little interesting. I don't know. We'll see how it shakes out because right now the Mavs and the Nuggets aren't in the playoffs. So we're going to have to
that.
see how that works.
I want the Mavs to make the playoffs.
Yeah, I think we all do. At least the national media does for Luka. But I would love to see the Mavs finally figure it out. We're going to talk to Noah about that soon, though. And unless you have any other words on the NBA, I think we should just go right into the chat with Noah because it's a lot of good stuff.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Well, when we come back, we will have Noah Rubinstein of the Smoking Cuban here to talk some Mavs basketball. So stay tuned on Unmasked.
And we're live with our special guest, Noah Rubinstein. Welcome back to the show, Noah.
Resident
Thanks for
Mavs
having
expert.
me. Thanks for having me. Yeah, good to be back.
Yeah, so we just wanted to talk a little bit about the Mavs today. It's definitely been a rocky start to the season, 6-7. I know that we're both pretty active on Mavs Twitter, and people are really quick to jump to conclusions and panic and, try to drop all these different trades. I want to know your initial reactions, overreactions, whatever you think is going on right now with the Mavs.
Yeah, so because of the whole Sinclair fight, the Fox Sports situation, I'm streaming games now on League Pass. And because of that, I'm usually like 30 seconds behind. So my Twitter during games is thankfully less, mainly during commercials, because it makes me so angry I almost throw my phone. It's so brutal. I unfollowed like 30 people after the last game. But anyways, I would say that it's impossible to make a reaction on exactly where this team will be yet, because if you take away 3 starters from any team in the NBA, they're going to be significantly worse. We have yet to see Josh Richardson, Luka, Maxey, and KP all play together ever. So
That's cool.
We've yet to see, and Dorian Finney-Smith, and I would say that's probably our best starting 5.
Mm-hmm.
And teams are going to keep playing box and one against Luka, and we're going to have people that are not NBA level 3-point shooters around him. And I think Luka said after the last game, I only took 11 shots because every time I come off a screen, I have 4 guys around me. So it's frustrating because in a shortened season with a loaded Western Conference, every game kind of matters a lot more, but I'm not ready to overreact yet. I think we're still a top 5 team in the West.
And you said that we have people out right now and guys who are starters. Those are also 3 of our best defenders, Kleba, Richardson, Finney. Like those guys matter on the defensive end. And I know you wrote a lot for the Smoking Cuban about like the defensive prowess of the Mavs this year. Does that impress you so far?
Yeah, I think they're a lot more committed. And like you said, we're missing our 3 best defenders. And the guys that we're putting out there aren't bad defenders, but I think it has to do with being a super young team. When you have Josh Green, Luka, KP, Wes Iwundu, guys that are just starting in the league, even though there's some – Luka's obviously established, but when your shots aren't falling on offense, then your motivation on defense gets worse, especially when you're 19, 20. Like, I don't like playing defense very much, so –
What about Dwight Powell? What's his deal right now?
I think he's terrible, but I'm not sure that Willie Cauley-Stein is so much better because I've never seen someone miss so many dunks in my life.
Oh my God, worst hands in the NBA easily.
Yeah. So as a rim protector and as a post defender, Willie Cauley-Stein is significantly better. Like leaps and bounds. He makes Powell look like a D2 college player, but they keep putting Cauley-Stein to guard people on the perimeter. He guarded Siakam and Giannis on the perimeter, and I can tell you that it was just an automatic bucket every time because his lateral quickness is just awful. Like it looks like his feet are getting tangled half the time. But Powell, when he puts the ball on the floor, it's like a thing on Mavs Twitter. If a team falls for Dwight Powell's pump fake, they must have just watched zero film because he pump fakes with no intention of shooting. His offense, he's really good against second units. He's a good rim running lob threat against second units, but he's a pushover. He's a doormat on D, and against top centers and top forwards on offense, he can't blow by them or overpower them. So that's a problem.
There's no one on the Mavs who could guard Jokic in a 7-game series right now that would give me at least a little bit of confidence.
No, I actually disagree because the Mavs have the one Jokic stopper in the whole NBA. He just only plays against the Nuggets.
Boban?
Yeah.
Boban.
Boban shut down the league with 34 against the Nuggets, and then we beat the Nuggets, and he played really well, and obviously it was on TNT, so we got to see Shaq say, "You rang," like a million times. And one of my friends is a huge Nuggets fan, and he's like, "I really hope they don't play Boban." But that's
you
like
can't play him the whole game. Like
no,
you can't give him 25 minutes.
Also, yeah. But with KP and Porzingis down there, once Porzingis gets his legs under him because he misses every 3 short right now. But having 2 7-foot shot blockers, I think, has been really key to making our defense a lot better.
Yeah. Are there any center targets that you would go after in the trade market and push Dwight Powell to the second unit?
I think that we should use our assets for something else and try to find like someone that gets bought out or someone on the low at center, because I think it's easier to find a serviceable center than it is to find what I think is actually maybe a bigger need than a center for us. So, which I can talk about after. But I think, if we can get Drummond for cheap, then sure, they have a bajillion centers, or even JaVale McGee, except I hate JaVale McGee. We're never going to get PJ Tucker because the Rockets and the Mavs never trade with each other, ever. And Mark Cuban, and well, now the previous people are gone, but they never trade with the Rockets. But for a few second-round picks and someone else, I keep seeing everyone throwing James Johnson's contract around. It's very tradable. But I would rather see us get a playmaker, like someone who can score, because the problem is that when you have Brunson, Hardaway, Trey Burke, Josh Richardson, you really only need one of them to be good, like really good on a given night. But when you only have Trey Burke or only have Brunson, they're not consistent, so they could both be bad, and then they can just quad team Luka and it's over. I don't know about you guys, but I guess I could pose this as a question back to you. Is there anyone other than Luka on the Mavs with 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter that you would trust with the ball to score?
Aside from a Hardaway between the legs pull up 3 that always seems to go in, I don't think anyone on the Mavs I would trust. No, not even Hardaway.
And maybe Hardaway once every 3 games.
Right. And
it's
Porzingis
fine.
is too timid in that situation. I don't think I would give him the ball either.
Yeah, right now, maybe in like 30 games, like he'll hit a post fadeaway, but he doesn't really have a good post game yet. He's just a tall shooter, in my opinion, which is fine. He's awesome, but
I agree though. A confident scorer, like that's why I texted Zach a trade idea. It was Zach LaVine, and I know that's like a huge idea on Mavs Twitter right now. But like I think someone like that who has a scoring prowess. I don't know what your opinion is on him, but he always seems to torch the Mavs.
Big on Zach LaVine. It might just be because of the last names, but he was telling me about that. Also.
I would be happy with Zach LaVine at the right price, because then you can't double Luka as easily.
Right.
Because right now with 6 people out, you triple Luka and we kick to Wesawundu in the corner and it's a brick, like 7 times out of 10, maybe 8 times out of 10.
What would they give for Zach LaVine?
It would be Brunson. It would have to be either Hardaway or Richardson's contract. It wouldn't be both. It would be one of the two. And then it would probably be Finney because he's on a great contract. He fits the timeline for them. And then you'd have to throw in a couple picks. Yeah.
And maybe James Johnson's contract.
That just strips away all the
But
defense.
we don't have picks. So like you'd have to go to 2025, 2027 if you're looking for a first round pick. And looking at how like there's no value for first round picks anymore, and you can just command, like, if you're Robert Covington, 2 first round picks, we would have to throw in 2. So I don't know how doable that is.
Yeah, I saw a tweet the other day that said first round picks are great until they turn into Jackson Hayes and Nikhil Alexander-Walker. But he's been good recently, Nikhil Alexander-Walker. Anyways, sorry.
The first round picks that are late in the draft, they're only good if you're the Spurs, and you can turn them into Keldon Johnson and Lonnie Walker.
DeJounte Murray.
Yeah, literally. And Devin White, or whatever his name is. Not Devin White. Derek White.
The Spurs are 8-6.
Yeah, dude. Everyone is saying, oh, they're going to get a top 5 pick in the draft. Nah, bro. We're going to be in the playoffs.
Aren't they leading the division?
What's up?
Yeah,
they're leading the division?
Are. But I think that I think the Mavs are still like minus 400 to win the division. In Vegas.
But I think the Spurs are going to make the playoffs, to everyone's surprise.
I just think that when we had other guys that could dribble the ball, our clutch issues would be so much better because it wouldn't be so predictable. That's why I think we sucked in the clutch last year. We were so predictable. And when we just don't have anyone that's going to hit shots. I looked, there's like this NBA math account on Twitter that shows the total points added on a graph. Luka is by far like the most points, the highest possible you can be on offense, and extremely high on defense.
Yeah.
He's like top 3 in the league, and everyone else on the Mavs is negative on both.
Yeah, Luka was top right, and I saw on one of them it was like third-year players, and Marvin Bagley was bottom left.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
And Trae Young is bottom right, literally like minus 20 on defense.
Right. His defensive liability.
Yeah. So, okay, so your overall reaction here is don't panic. You think the Mavs will be okay, but explore trade options that make sense.
Yeah, we're definitely like the Lakers are still way better than us. I don't know that I don't think we could beat the Clippers in 7 games unless playoff P comes back. And I mean, the Nets are better than us. I still think we match up pretty well with the Bucks, honestly, for some reason. Like we just can't score right now. Like we literally cannot score. Miles Turner's out, so we'll see how tonight goes. But we have to start strong because otherwise they're going to get down on themselves, and then either Luka's not going to pass or he's going to pass too much. He'll be fine. We'll be fine. Maybe I really hate him so much, but like maybe we're going to have to go after a guy like Buddy Hield on the lower end.
Your neighbor.
If he gets pissed off again at Sacramento, he might not now that Vlade's gone. But I don't know how we're going to afford Zach LaVine at this point.
And Bogdanovich is gone too. I feel like Hield is going to stay put. I don't know. The pipe dream is Bradley Beal. That's never going to happen.
Nah,
I think the next tier is Zach LaVine, and I think that could be doable. But you just have to be comfortable with parting with a lot of assets.
I just don't see how they give up that many assets.
I think Maxey has to go.
Really?
Wow.
I think I mean, no, I don't want him to go. I'm saying I think he's highly valued.
Yeah.
In the NBA.
Contract.
But I think that a contender would want him more than the Bulls because he's like 28.
I just 29. Feel like the Mavs need that defense. Like you saw that against the Bucks. He's the Giannis stopper when we play the Bucks. Like that's who we need. He's the Kawhi stopper. He's the primary defender. And
I think that one thing that they've shown so far, even when they didn't have KP, is they can win games in ways that they didn't last year. So there were I think our first 6 games or something, or whatever, our first 6 wins, 5 of them, when we were 6-4, 5 of our wins, we held opponents to under 95 points. We did that like 10 times all last season because we couldn't win games like that. And even though Josh Richardson has been very poor offensively, he adds so much on defense. Like his defense on Jamal Murray in that game when we won in overtime was really good. On Tyler Hero when we played the Heat was really good. And I've liked James Johnson also. I just
Yeah.
think he's a second, third unit type guy, not our first guy off the bench, which is why we're sucking right now.
He hits timely threes when Luka kicks it out to him, and then he'll airball
Yeah.
the open ones. But,
Oh my God. His shot has the biggest rainbow arc of like anyone in the NBA.
You like him shaved or with the blonde dreads more?
The reason why I like him shaved is because it was painful to watch the games when he had that hair with my dad, because every time he did anything, I'd have to listen to a 5-minute rant of how awful the hair was from my dad. Otherwise, I don't really care.
I think he looked older with the hair too. Like he looks more like his Heat self now, a little bouncier.
Yeah.
I think also Trey Burke, like you said with Richardson is the defensive anchor. I think Trey Burke is stepping into that Seth Curry role too recently. Like he's not as good of a shooter, but I think the combination of Richardson and Burke, if they're both on the court, replace a lot of what we're missing.
Did you see the reverse
Brunson
layup the other night on the Raptors that Trey Burke did? That was insane, dude. He like fully extended his body.
Smooth.
Like, so graceful, yeah. He went to Michigan, right?
Oh yeah, and Hardaway.
Yeah.
Same team.
I don't like the Burke Brunson lineups together.
Yeah.
Because they both dribble the ball like crazy amounts, and then one of them is just useless. Yeah. Not useless, but that's the thing. He's good also like 1 in every 3 games. He's really good 1 in every 3 games, and then he's like below. He just like doesn't do anything. And so that's the problem when we don't have 4 inconsistent guys. At least one will go off. But now we just have 2, and so if they both suck, we just suck.
Yeah, you see how like Burke going off doesn't do anything if Hardaway goes 0 for 7 from 3. Like you need some consistency more than just one guy. That's why a Levine trade, I think he brings that to the table. But we'll see if the Mavs have that in the cards. Mavs are a trading team, so can never count them out.
Not only the inconsistency, but it's partially that they're just inconsistent players, but also the COVID and the injuries make their rotations inconsistent. So they're not used to like when they get their rhythm, or they're playing with different guys every night. And there are good passers other than outside of Luka, but it's just sometimes like some people aren't used to playing together. So.
Yeah. All right. Well, final predictions for the season.
I think we'll still be 4-5 bottom, at least 5 in the West.
At least meaning like 5 or lower.
5 or like 3 to 6, 4 to 6, 4 to 6.
I didn't know if you meant like a top 5 seed or bottom 5. Or
like
bottom
we're
5.
avoiding the play-in tournament.
Gotcha.
I will be so sad if we're in 7 because I don't want to play in that tournament.
Yeah, that
I don't want to play the Spurs, dude, in that tournament.
Spurs will be bottom of the West by then. There's no way.
There's no way they'll be below Minnesota.
No.
They might be worse on defense than we were last year. They are so bad. Yeah, they're so bad.
They have so much talent there too. It's just like so bad.
Tat has been out forever.
Yeah, that's true. But even when he's there, they're not that good. They're just not a good team.
Yeah, it's
Anthony Edwards he was starting off hot, or like kind of hot. He's looking not so good.
He's fine. They just don't have anyone.
Yeah.
They don't have anyone else.
Yeah.
Like they need Jared Vanderbilt to like play big minutes.
Zach, they need your Kevin Love trade.
Kevin Love.
Just a little bit of something, man. Anything.
He's hurt, right? Kevin Love?
Yeah, he's hurt.
Yeah.
Oh, that's sad, though. They have them and the Cavs and the Magic, I think, have a combined like 8 point guards injured.
Oh, my God.
Wow.
It might be like 3, but I like just over-exaggerate, so we'll go with 8.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, actually.
And Jonathan Isaac, if you count him as point guard.
Yeah.
He's not, but, decimated. All right, well, thank you for coming on. Do you have anything to plug? Your Smoking Cuban work, your Twitter account? Throw it out there.
Oh, Noah R56. And I have one question. I'm trying to settle an argument.
Okay.
Do you think Cheese Whiz is a condiment or just a cheese, or can it be both?
Huh. I never thought about that before.
I don't think it's a condiment.
You do or don't?
I don't. Do you consider like chocolate syrup a condiment, or like something you put on top of stuff, like as an
like
added bonus.
I'm just curious.
I think
I'll
it
tell you
is. I'm of the opinion that it is.
Okay.
what, Zach's on my side. Let's go. All
I mean,
right.
I guess it could be both, but
Yes, but that works too.
okay. Okay.
All right.
Interesting.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah. Take care. Go Mavs.
Peace.
And we are back on Unmasked. That was a good conversation with Noah. Glad you're putting the glasses back on.
Back on, baby.
No, I think he raised a lot of good points. I think the Mavs don't need to panic right now. Got a good team, a team that took 2 from the Clippers last year, but I think there's still some improvements to be made. What do you think about Zach LaVine?
Zach LaVine is he could be an enigma for the Mavs. I think my friend Griffin, Griffin Levine's main point about him was he's good off the ball too, which could be really complimentary to Luka, because Luka kind of needs the ball in his hands, which is great. So I think Zach LaVine could be a good second piece, even over Kristaps, to Luka. And this guy lights it up, dude, and he's like a consistent scorer. I think he'd be a great addition to the team.
And he's also, like you said, like a great shooter off the ball. So when Luka does kick it to the corner, it's not Wes Iwundu, it's Zach LaVine, which would be really nice.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm all on board for that, depending on how much it would cost. But in the past, I've been so specific. Like, I don't want to give up any of the young assets. Look, if we have to give up JB, if we have to give up Richardson, like Finney, whatever. Kleba, I'm a little cold on it. I know Noah said he would have to go. I think the Mavs are going to like his defense too much to give him up. But the younger guys, like if they have to give them up, Josh Green, Tyrell Terry, whatever it takes, I want a third score because
okay. Mavs, well, let's say hypothetically they give up Josh Green, Josh Richardson, and Dorian Finney. Dude, their defense that takes away all their defense.
I guess, but Kleba's a good defender. Levine's serviceable, and I mean, I think that would be fine because you would end up getting a player probably in the buyout market, because you're giving away 3 players and you're taking in 1. You become more of a contender. And Porzingis also is a decent defender. Willie Cauley-Stein can protect the rim somewhat. You're going to have rotational players that you can slide in there. I mean, I don't think it affects it that much. Right now, we've been missing our top 3 defenders, and the games have not been like huge scoring blowouts. We've been playing well on defense. I think guys are stepping up. Luka's improved as a defender. I think it would be doable. I don't think it would be the end of the world, but I do think they would be more likely to give up Hardaway's contract than Josh Richardson's, just because of Richardson carries over into next year. And if you're giving it to the Bulls, they probably want it expiring. And so you would just be missing that scoring piece, which I think you get back with LaVine. So,
okay.
But we'll see. Josh Green doesn't play that much anyway. And I think that they can figure out ways. Carlisle can get the most out of guys defensively. And plus, last year's team was horrible defensively. And I think that this would be a better scoring version of that team. So it will be interesting, though, to see what happens. The trade deadline, I don't think, is until March. The Bulls actually are playing decent. So I don't know if they're going to trade LaVine. But
yeah, but they're playing, like you said, decent. So, what's the point of playing decent anymore?
Yeah. Did you
You
know?
want to win or you want to lose, I feel like.
When they played the Mavs the other day, their starting lineup had LaVine and Markkanen, who are 2 promising. That's like the wish version, the starter kit version of Luka and KP. And then they had their top 10 picks from, or like maybe top 5 even, from the last 3 years. So you had, or I guess Wendell.
Wendell, and
yeah, and Patrick Williams.
Patrick Williams, yeah.
That was the rounds out their starting 5. Like that should be, if you like went in and progressed them in 2K, like in 3 years, that should be an elite team in the East. But they're not going to keep all them together, and they're not all going to develop at the same speed. But still,
that's a good point. That's interesting. Yeah. Also, why are they just so good against the Mavs?
I know they caught us on a game where we didn't have Luka in Chicago, and then in a game where our whole bench was out with COVID. But
I feel like they always play well against the Mavs.
Yeah, it's just a thing. I don't know. It's annoying. Mavs play down to the competition. That's a trend.
Yeah.
Regardless, though, it was good catching up with Noah. It'll be nice to see what happens there. And if we're going to get into today in history, I think we should do it now because it is a very, very lengthy today in history. It's got a lot of good, juicy stuff. Starting in 1954, when Bob Cousy is the NBA All-Star Game MVP, the fourth All-Star Game ever. 4 years later, Bob Pettit is the MVP. And so I'm admittedly not the best with basketball history beyond the 1980s, but you are, for some reason, like the basketball historian from the 50s or the 70s.
I don't know.
Because you know all the players. So I want to know, was Bob Cousy better than Bob Pettit? Because I feel like you have a story or statistics on all these guys.
I know that they say that Bob Pettit is always the most underrated, like great debates and stuff. Bob Cousy's always like underrated in terms of like greatest point guard debates and stuff. I think they say Bob Pettit's like the franchise guy for the Hawks to this day. Probably like more contemporary would be Dominique Wilkins, but Bob Pettit was more winning, has more success. I don't really know the exact stats on either of them. I feel like the difference is that Bob Cousy was kind of like a secondary player to Bill Russell in his prime, right? But you don't really hear about Bob Cousy as much, even though he was great facilitator, all that. Great in 2K.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you play with them on 2K?
Sometimes if I land on the Hawks or the Celtics, I usually go Bird. But I would say overall, I would take Pettit.
Okay, interesting. I couldn't even told you who Pettit played for, and I'm someone who considers myself like a pretty big basketball enthusiast. I don't know. It's like it starts with Julius Erving in my mind. I don't, like the history of basketball. Like Wilt happened, and then it's like the different eras are just very cloudy until we get to really Michael Jordan mid 80s.
So Pettit has a championship and 2 MVPs. And he was like the scorer. He was on the All NBA first team 10 years in a row.
Wow.
Rookie of the year, 2-time scoring champ. He has a pretty illustrious career that people don't even know about. Whereas Bob Cousy also, this guy has all those chips from. He has all those chips from Russell.
He's carried.
Yeah, he has an MVP as well. He has 6 titles, so not all of them from Russell, but I wouldn't say he was carried. No, I'd say it's like a Kobe Shaq kind of deal, right?
Okay. Okay.
Or more like Stockton Malone, probably.
Except never winning a championship. So.
Yeah, that's true. Stockton and Malone, like when there was no Michael Jordan.
Yeah. So you're saying that Cousy's like Kobe, and you said Pettit won Rookie of the Year. So you're basically calling him Michael Carter Williams? Is that what I'm?
I'm basically calling him Michael Carter Williams.
Okay, just checking. See, I'm good with
your shot.
I'm good with modern history. Like I could tell you anyone who's in the last 15 years, which is bad. I should talk to my dad more. But as we saw, my dad's not great with names or faces, so it's a struggle. 1973, O.J. Simpson was MVP of the Pro Bowl. That is an underrated player and man. 1990, John McEnroe.
We're going to have a whole podcast dedicated to O.J. Simpson's legacy.
Yeah. That was, what's the day that everything happened? Was that, I think it was 1991?
Yeah, something like that.
I think it was because ESPN made a 30 for 30, 1994. Okay, so this was 4 years before everything went down. Oh, no. I'm looking at John McEnroe becoming the first expelled from the Australian Open. That was in 1990. O.J. Simpson was in 1973. It was 21 years before the chase. So we're good. John McEnroe, 1990. Then this one is the big one. 2010, Kobe, rest in peace. Coming up on his anniversary in a couple days, which is really sad. But he became the youngest ever to hit 25K at 31 years and 151 days. He hit 25,000 points. So that sounds like meaningless numbers, right? 31, just over, it's like 31 and a half is when he hit it. That sounds like nothing. Let me contextualize this for you, okay? Just a little bit. So to give reference, James Harden is 31 and 148 today, like 31 and 148 days. So it's like tomorrow when this comes out, it'll be 149 days. Still, it's 2 days younger, but it's like basically where Kobe was at when he hit 25,000. It's where James Harden's at now. And he is at 21,226 points after that Bucks game. So he's nearly still, like before this Cavs game tonight, 4,000 behind Kobe at the same age, and Harden is considered one of the game's all-time best scorers. Let's make this even crazier. Steph is 32, so older than Kobe's age, and he hasn't even hit 17K.
Huh.
Dame is still 30. He has like another year, but he's just hit 15,000, and Kobe had 25,000 a year after Dame.
Wow.
Luka is almost 22. He'll be 22 at the end of February, and he has a little bit over 3,600. So assuming he plays 75 games per year over the next 9.5 years, he would need to average 29.5 points per game to hit the Kobe mark.
Wow.
Luka would have to literally put up 30 a game for a decade in order to hit Kobe's scoring mark.
That's unbelievable.
I don't think it's ever going to get broken. Durant could have. Like, there was a very, very small chance, but then all those injuries over the last couple of years, I do not see Luka being the scoring machine Kobe was.
No, I don't either. That's so unreasonable to say 30 a game for the next. That's crazy though.
I know. Like, Luka could end up being more of an assist guy and end up averaging like 27 and 12, instead of 29 and 9, and like then he just wouldn't get. He would be so far by that time that it wouldn't even be close. It'd be like James Harden. I mean, James Harden averaged 36 points a game last year, and he is still 4,000 away from where Kobe was. It's insane. Kobe is just, people throw around GOAT, but I think that there can be GOATs for different stats and different types of styles. And I think Kobe's the GOAT scorer. I just think he was a walking bucket, and whenever you needed a clutch shot, Kobe was there. And, it's just something like how we talked about Aaron Rodgers at the beginning. Like, you need a clutch play. You need the ball to be right where it has to be at the biggest points in the game. Like, you can trust him. Kobe is just clutch. He's going to score. He's a walking bucket.
I agree with that. He's my GOAT. I'm not even saying scoring. I'm just saying he's my GOAT.
Respect.
Straight up. Yeah. Dude, we grew up on Kobe. Like, I remember like watching these championship games against Boston and stuff and being like, okay, ball's in Kobe's hands, going in the bucket. Like, just a guarantee. It's safe. It's a safe bet. He's unreal.
It's crazy how he won on the same team with two completely different teams too. Like, at two separate points in his career. Obviously, he had a lot of help with each team, but he won like several titles with each squad. Like, it's awesome. It's something that I haven't seen before. LeBron's done it with 3 different teams, but to stay on a team that long and to win in 2 iterations of the franchise, it's pretty amazing.
Dude, yeah. Kobe really, he proved all the, like, a lot of people were like, oh, Shaq carried Kobe in the beginning, which isn't true. But then, even despite that, he still then became the best player by far.
Yeah.
He's an all-around legend.
Yeah, way better than Tim Duncan.
For another podcast.
Another podcast. All right, well, we're going to head into the birthdays. Hakeem Olajuwon, happy 58th. Detlef Schrempf is also 58. He's the Grand Teuton. I think that's what his nickname was on Basketball Reference.
He's like a free throw guy or something.
Yeah, I think so. I've never heard that nickname, but I thought that was really funny. Anyway, those are the 2 basketball players. They're both 58. It's kind of crazy. I wanted to ask you, though, is Hakeem, speaking of GOATs, is he the GOAT of foreign players? Without disrespect to Dirk or Manu or anyone else who's come over, would you say Hakeem's the best foreign player to ever play the game?
Yeah, I'd have to say Hakeem. I don't even know. I guess Dirk comes close.
Yeah, Dirk's the best European.
Right, Dirk's the best European besides Tony Parker.
No, Nick Batum. Nick Batum. Stop it.
I actually just watched with my dad when I was on break there's like a Tony Parker doc called like The Final Shot. And it's actually, I highly recommend. It's like they feature like Kobe, Duncan, Ginobili, Pop, Kobe like he like talks for a while in there, like Michael Jordan. It's pretty cool actually. And like they just show like how like Tony Parker to French basketball is essentially Michael Jordan to like NBA basketball.
Wow.
And it actually is like cool to watch like how that progressed. But yeah, no, I would say Hakeem. Sorry, off that tangent. Hakeem Olajuwon is the foreign GOAT. Yeah. Maybe Luka by the end of his career, probably.
Yeah, could be. Could be. We'll see.
Couple of chips.
Lex Lumpkin is 15. He is, I think he's like a Nick actor, but this was funny to me
Wait,
because
the what?
he's a Nick actor, like
Okay.
Nickelodeon.
Nice.
This was funny because did you watch the Saints Bears Nickelodeon broadcast?
Yeah,
For the
dude.
NFL
With
playoffs?
slime and everything.
Yeah, so he was the sideline guy in that, and I thought it was just really funny because they went down to him, and he was like, yeah, it's crazy down here. The Saints just scored, and it's gonna be crazy to see if the Bears can score too. And I was like, that may have been the worst sideline analysis that I've ever heard in my life. But yeah, he did a good job with that, and I thought that the whole broadcast was pretty funny. It was a little weird to hear it on Nick, but you know,
Yeah,
was
it
fun.
was. It was a little weird, but overall, it was good.
Yeah, I prefer to hear Tony Romo, but it's all good. Alex from Target is 23 today. Internet meme. Still don't believe that someone got famous off of a picture of scanning grocery items. And Jerry Trainer from iCarly is 44. He's one of the funniest actors out there. So Crazy Steve also, he was great. He's just great on Nickelodeon also. So a lot of Nick birthdays. Well, that is it for birthdays today. And now we're going to do something a little bit different. We have some time because, we talked to Noah, but we definitely have a little bit of extra time for those who want more Unmasked. And we're gonna give you something special here. Zach, are you a fan of The Bachelor?
Um, I can't say that I am, Jordan.
Well, I am. And I watch about every other season, which ends up just being The Bachelor, because The Bachelorette is the one after it. And I feel like I just can't handle two in one year. But anyway, Matt James.
Wait. Can we talk about that for a second? So
Yeah.
you just refuse to watch The Bachelorette?
No,
Is
I
it
don't
something I think?
refuse. I never get into it. Like, it happens too soon after. So I'll start, I'll miss the first couple because I'll be like, I'm kind of over it. And then by the time I get involved in it, it's already too late. And I don't know the people. I'm not caught up in the drama. And so then when The Bachelor rolls around, it's nothing about the content of it. It's more about my tolerance of watching a show every week and my
Jordan, are you
dedication.
aware that you're a sexist?
It's been brought to my attention. But Matt James is The Bachelor, and he is a former Wake Forest receiver. He's a beast. Anyway, he's done a great job. But I want to break down, if we do this right after The Bachelor, which we have. Today's Wednesday, we're recording this, and it was Monday night, and so I feel like it's still pretty fresh. I want to go through Bachelor Corner here and just give my 2 cents, because it was ridiculous this week, Zach. It was honestly despicable. I know that you didn't watch it, but I want you to feel my pain, because there was an innocent woman. Her name was Marilyn, and she was not doing anything wrong at all. Everyone loved her. She had not a great relationship with Matt, but you could tell there was something there. He brought her a flower. She liked him. He liked her. It's very early on. But just because she got in one argument early on with this girl, Victoria, who, mind you, showed up in a crown on the first day and proclaimed herself the queen of all the girls. She's crazy. They got in one fight, and Victoria tells Matt that Marilyn's insane and she's toxic and that she's all this stuff and is causing drama. So Matt doesn't give Marilyn the rose. Marilyn goes home. That's the beginning of the episode. First off, it sets it off on this horrible start.
Wow.
It's infuriating because she did nothing wrong. She's the innocent, quiet girl. And then, to make matters worse, one of my favorites from the beginning, Sarah, who fainted in the first episode in the rose ceremony, ends up realizing that she can't handle all these other girls vying after the same guy. And I'm like, girl, you signed up for this. This is what The Bachelor's about. Like, there are all these girls for the same guy. Anyway, she decides that she is going to leave because she can't handle it anymore. And before she leaves, she goes to talk to him, and she steals time away from other girls, which that's a big no-no. In The Bachelor, like, time is money. Like, to be able to talk to the guy is like the whole point of the show. Everyone gets mad. I get that she shouldn't have done that, but it's not that big of a deal. They bully her. It's ridiculous. Like, yes, she shouldn't have stolen time, but she tried to apologize, and it's not her fault that Matt wanted to go up into her room and talk to her. Dude, don't even get me started. This was horrible. She ends up leaving. They leave it on that as a cliffhanger for next week. So 2 bad things happen. Marilyn gets kicked off because Victoria just goes nuts, and Sarah decides it's not for her and just leaves the show. So we are left with a lot of questions after this week. You don't know what's going to happen. My new favorite is Rachel. So if you're watching, I think she's going to win. I think Abigail is a good one. She's actually deaf. Can you imagine going on a show deaf? I think it'd be very hard.
Wow, that's tough.
Next time we got to time this to make sure that that I can get it in a certain amount of time. But that is my wrap up on that. It was ridiculous. I can't wait until next week, and I'm just gonna have to put myself through it again because Lord knows I cannot leave myself hanging like that. It was too much. So, except I'm not gonna have anyone to watch with, and I know that my roommates are gonna laugh at me if I ask to turn it on TV. So I'm gonna have to just lock myself in my room.
I can't blame them.
So that didn't inspire you to watch it at all?
Not so much, but maybe.
All right. Well, to anyone out there who feels my pain, thank you. And we're going to get into fan mail because it's making me mad. All right. We have mail coming in. This is from Nick's Lover, 68 72 33 51 0006 at gmail.com.
Are those all like famous Knicks or something?
Yeah, I guess so. I know 00 is Anthony. Or no, he was 7. He was 7 on the Knicks.
0 in Portland.
Yeah. Anyway, Nick's Lover says Kendrick Lamar's Black Boy Fly. Oh my God. This says the lyric says, I used to be jealous of Aaron Aflalo. He was the only one to follow. He was the only leader for seeing brighter tomorrows. Okay, Kendrick. Should we be jealous of a guy who's only 35 and hasn't played since 2018? He did average 18 points per game in 2013-14. Does he deserve our attention? Interesting. Thank you for the question. Zach, what are your opinions on Aaron Aflalo?
Right, Aaron Aflalo used to be pretty solid on the Magic. I haven't heard his name in a long time. Is he playing in China now, or what is he doing?
I don't think he's anywhere. I think he's a free agent. But yeah, he did average 18 points a game. I mean, that's pretty impressive. I'm more jealous that he was on a mid-2000s UCLA team with Russ and Collison. I mean, that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
not really jealous of his NBA career as much. But yeah, I mean, he's only 35. He's not in the league. Something's got to be wrong there. I feel like someone could use him.
35 is like a age where okay, it's okay to be done.
Yeah, but it's not like he just retired. Like his last season was 2017-18. So 18, 19, 19, 20.
Whatever. That's like out of prime.
Okay, but like 18, 19, 19, 20, 20, 21. This is his third year out of retirement, and he was a guy who put up 18 points a game like 7 years ago. I mean, at the point when he retired, he was pretty fresh off that. I think he could have been on like one of those LeBron teams where he's the 8th, 9th guy on the bench, comes off to just be a microwave, hit some open threes.
Yeah, he could have been. You're right.
A Jared Dudley.
I don't really know his game that much. I know he's a good scorer.
He was good in 2K. He always.
Yeah, he was good at 2K.
The computer.
Yeah.
The CPU loves Aaron Aflalo.
CPU does love Aaron Aflalo.
I love shooting him. Well, I don't think he'll be on any rosters anytime soon. Hopefully, Zach LaVine will be on the Mavs roster pretty soon or something. Some changes, but NBA seeding up. I know that you're happy with the Spurs. Who do they play? Play tonight? Anything we can?
Spurs are playing. Who are they playing tonight? I want to say the Warriors.
They are playing the Warriors. Wow. All right. So and then Mavs Spurs on Friday. Man, we're gonna have to unpack that next week.
Yeah, we
Big
will.
game in San Antonio. We may have the whole team back. Get scared, Zach.
Yeah, should I be scared?
Be scared. Got it all back.
But yeah, good stuff.
All right. Until then, be safe. And next time we come to you, I will be in Ann Arbor. So everyone, get hype, and we will see you next week. Peace.